Hello! It is me! And my guest star here, Gray, who's slightly reluctant to be involved, but I did her the scoop so that you could see her. Oh, and we've got wriggling, and we've got a wriggling situation. I'm going to let her hop down before she gets too fidgety. Hi! How are you all? How are things? I see we have many people in the chat. Oh, and we've got some redemptions of treats for Gray, so I will just handle those while we've got her here. Hang on a second. Won't be a mo. Just bringing up the old stream manager. Oopsie daisy, I'm playing an ad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Just hit the ad button by mistake. Please don't run away. So I still have those of you who are subscribers here. So hi, you people. It's you. So that's great. But the people who weren't subscribers have suddenly now been excluded from the stream. So I'm really sorry for that. I don't want to do anything too exciting while they're not watching. But yeah, don't know what to do about that now. Sorry. Anyway, how are you guys doing? How's things? You all doing okay? Yes, I know you can't hear over the ads. So sorry about the ads. I promise I'm not saying anything interesting. Waiting for you guys before we give Gray treats. So we're off to a flying start. And you say free money for me, it's been like 10p. But for an ad, it'll be a maximum of 10p probably. But yeah, having a nice week. Good. I'm also having a nice week. Gray's just having a little scratch on her basket in the corner that we use when she needs to go to the vet, so she doesn't like it. So she's just expressing her distaste at it. Still waking up, Shiva? It's not that early in the morning, is it? You passed an exam today. Well done, Check Morticia. The Duolingo owl just told me it's been 30 days since I practiced Korean. Then you need to practice your Korean. And were I more worldly, with a better grasp of languages, I would now take the opportunity to speak in Korean. But I don't know any Korean, so I can't. Oh, see you, Freya. Short but sweet. You're supposedly moving, Ninja. That's interesting. Why only supposedly? Good evening, Bard. I'm doing very well, thank you. Hope you are too. Just killing time while the ad break finishes that I didn't mean to play. But hey, it's turned off pre-roll ads for people joining, so that's a perk. Welcome back, Yin Spirit. Sorry again for the whole ad fiasco. Right, what I was trying to click on was manage reward requests so I can redeem these treats for Gray. So I'm going to start doing that. Here we are, 2 treats for Gray. And we should have everyone back from the ad break now. Welcome back, those of you who got thrown out accidentally. I'm so sorry for that. Right, treats. Look what we got here. Look. Can you guys see? There we go. 1 and 2. Sorry, the mic's sort of in the way, and now I am. But you can more or less see. She gets her treats. She's very grateful. Right. Anyway, welcome back, Baby Built. Sorry for dismissing you by accident with ads. Oh, and we've lost camera focus. What's happened there? Hello? That's more like it. I might just pop this light on. Just boost the that a little bit. There we go. That's more like it. She is very soft. I can confirm she is one very soft kitty. Very fluff. Very cute. She'll probably want to leave soon, so she probably won't be here for too long. Because I'll have to let her out when she asks. But, oh, up she goes. Having a sniff around. Wants to be the centre of attention. Interesting things around there. Hello, Samantha. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the tutorial. I was filming the second part of it last night. Still got some more filming to do, but I'm hoping to have it online. I don't know. Maybe around the weekend. It depends on how much time I get, really, and how long it takes. But I will be doing it. You did miss the first lot of grey treats, Freya, but we've just had another lot redeemed, so I'll just do that. Treats for grey from Magmatic Web. Where's she going? Here. This is from Magmatic Web. Enjoy. And we've got one from Czech. Enjoy. She gets up to 5 treats in a stream. No more than that or she'll get a funny tummy. Yeah, Dreamies product placement there. Sponsored by Dreamies. We're not. Right. Ooh, Detective Lucian, he's on the case. Yeah, maybe. Ooh, and treats for Grey from Shiva. That's her final treat, so I'll give her that and then we're done with this. Come on, come on. Look. Oh, I put that behind the microphone. That wasn't very clever. Anyway. She enjoy. Thanks, guys. Right, what did I miss? Yes, best cat. I love her. She is indeed the cutest. And she's very polite. Except when she yells. But she doesn't do that often, so. Right, done with treats. So, modding. That's what we're going to do. Some modding. So yeah, welcome, one and all, to my modding workshop. I'm just going to bump this up a bit so that it's all a bit better audio. There we go. Welcome to the modding workshop, where today we're doing modding. Hello, Megastocky, welcome. So we are going to be working on Lucian's Tundra Homestead patch today, but this is a modding workshop, so as ever, you guys are more than welcome at any point to ask any questions you want about your own project, about how to do various things with the creation kit, about writing, about voice acting, all those sorts of things. And if I can help, I'll be more than happy to do so. So the idea of this stream is that it's a sort of back and forth. We'll work through stuff together. That's what we're going to do. It should be good fun. If there aren't any questions for me to answer, then I'll just crack on with the with Lucian's patch. But yeah, we can do whatever you want really with the stream. Up to you guys. So keep me posted if you have anything you want to know. I'm just noticing a tuft of hair coming out on my sideburns there. This is lockdown hair. That's part of the problem. I really need a haircut. Quite badly. But I don't want to risk getting COVID in order to do so. That's the struggle we have in 2020. Tuft versus COVID. I suppose I could just snip that tuft off there, couldn't I, on its own? Although that might have repercussions. Megastocky has a question. It's about patching without needing to be a dependency. There's no such thing. You can't do a patch without having a dependency on the file. But Lucian has patchless interactions going on, and we talked about them last stream, I think, but I will just show you again in this one to show you guys what's going on with that. Now, I will have a dedicated episode of the tutorial series all about patchless interactions, so I'll go into a lot more detail on that then. But I can give you a little brief overview now showing how I do it. It's not very easy. It's tricky, and there's a lot of limitations, so it can only do so much. You're always a lot more free by doing it through a patch. If you can manage a patch, it gives you a lot more power over what you can set up interactions for. But you can do a limited amount patchlessly. So I'll show you that. Yes, May, I did think it might be a mistake to try and cut my own hair. But we'll see if I ever do decide to do that. Just carry on getting this set up here. Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants. Well, that sounds like a useful skill check, and not one that I possess. I better ping the people on the old Discord to let them know that we've started. At stream notify, I'm live on Twitch for this week's modding workshop. Come join the shenanigans. Right, back to the stream manager so I can see what you guys are saying. Good morning, Ladybug Zard. Welcome to the stream. I still haven't got around to playing Enderal, but I do need to do that at some stage. I've heard such good things about it. Ooh, Shiva's implementing a surprise. That's exciting. Right. Okay, so I'm going to pop the camera on my screen. Put myself in the corner. Nobody puts baby in a corner. Except me. Okay, so. Oh, hello, call me May Mammoth 18. If there aren't going to be any streams or new videos in the next couple of weeks, we now know Joseph probably tried to cut his own hair. You might discover that I suddenly start wearing a hat. If that happens, I might always wear a beanie for my streams or something. We'll see. Hey, Rex Flash, and hello, Miss Toasty. Welcome, welcome. Zelda Darkness, welcome. Hi, friends. Welcome to the stream. So the question was about... Oh, Nuna! Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the sub. Most appreciated. You are very kind. Oh, no way, Yin Spirit. Thank you so much. That's so generous of you. That's really kind of you to sub to my Patreon. Really appreciate that. You are a truly lovely person. If you do hit me up, then drop me a PM or DM, whatever you call it, a private message over Patreon with your custom name request, and I'll certainly get working on that in the next update. Thank you so much. Honestly, that's lovely. Right, so the question was about how do I do patchless interactions? How does one set up patchless interactions? So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our filter here for JR. Now, I set up Lucian before I started properly doing IDs and prefixes. So you'll see I do this more efficiently in the tutorial series. There's a lot of stuff in the tutorial series which are... There's a lot of stuff which is stuff I did for Lucian, and a lot of it is stuff I wish I did for Lucian. So I'll be teaching you how not to make the mistakes I made when I was setting him up. But yeah, so you'll notice these are all just JR, not JR01 or anything, which I should have done. And a lot of the, well, a few of the scripts for Lucian don't have the JR prefix either, which is a bit annoying. But yes, so the way I handle mods patchlessly is with this quest called JR Lucian Mod Handler here. And what I have for that is I have a quest alias for the player, which is here. And what that does, if you just wait for that to load up, is it attaches a script to the player. And here's the script. It's called JR Mod Checker. And if we do edit source here, you can see the script. This is the master script that does all of Lucian's patchless interactions. And what it does is it checks on when the player loads the game. Whenever the player loads the game, this script runs. And what it does is, first thing happens here is a little hacky solution I found to a bug where Lucian would keep dismissing himself. So we don't need to worry about that. Hydrate. And posture check. Sure, all many questions coming in. I'll get to your questions in a sec. I'm just going to finish answering this one, but feel free to keep asking the questions and I'll catch up. But yes, so This is the master script that controls all the patchless interactions, and when the player loads the game, it does this check all mods function, which looks like this. The first thing it does is it checks to see if you have Sky UI and SKSE installed, and if you do, it starts his MCM, which will then show up in the whole mod configuration menu thing. And then it checks to see if we have a special function here to check if you have SKSE. You can do that by calling this function to get the version number. And if it's greater than 0, we know we have SKSE installed. If it is equal to 0, it'll return a harmless error. That's if we don't have SKSE installed, which means this stage won't be set. And this stage triggers Lucian's automatic naming thing. But here, this get form from file, which also occurs later on. This is the key script for patchless interactions. If you call get form from file and put in an ID of a reference and the name of the ESP you want to find that reference in, you can extract a record from that ESP. So I'll show you what I mean. Here I have mod check for Inigo alias here. And what that does is it calls this function down here, mod check. And then this is Inigo's ref ID. That's the ID for his actor in the world. That's the name of Inigo's ESP. And that's a blank empty alias for me to save Inigo into. So it runs this get form from file check using that form ID and the name inigo.esp in order to find Inigo's reference. And then it saves that reference into Inigo's alias, which is the Inigo alias here. So now, when I then close that down, and if we go into JR Lucian follower... Oh, a Gling! Thanks so much for the sub, Valk! That's so lovely of you. Thank you. Very kind. Right, so yeah, in the JR Lucian follower, you see we have all these blank empty aliases, and here is the Inigo one. So Inigo, when the game loads and detects that Inigo is installed, it'll grab his alias and grab his reference and put it into this alias. So this will be filled with Inigo, which then means in the dialogue in here, JR Lucian follower idle, I can go down to one of the conversations with Inigo. Where are they? It's always tricky to find, but here we are. Right, so this is the Inigo, do you think I'm useful conversation? And we can then do these various condition checks on the quest alias Inigo, which will all return false if Inigo isn't installed and that reference alias is empty. But since it's not empty, then we can just check Lucian's distance and whether he's in the same cell and all these sorts of things in order to check if Inigo's recruited and nearby and not talking. And that allows us to patchlessly interact with them. Now, the limitation with doing these patchless interactions is you can't do it on anything that doesn't save into an alias. So you can save NPCs into aliases, so you can check about anything about that NPC, and you can save locations into aliases, so you can check whether you're currently in a particular location added by a mod. What you can't save is quests. So if I want to get a quest stage, if I want to check the stage of a quest, say, to tell whether Kaiden has yet discovered the secrets of his past for Lucian's conversation with him, I cannot use the normal condition I would use, which is get stage, to check that quest position, because this mod without a patch cannot see the quest. So the only way to do it is to execute a script, which I do at the start of that particular scene with Kaiden. Let me find it. Here we are. Look, so it's when this scene starts. This is the scene with two different variants depending on whether we know Kaiden's past or not. And if you look under Misk and under Idle, we'll find the line that starts that interaction, which is here. Hello, I'm Lucien Flavius. It's a pleasure. Now, here we do, in this thing, before we start the scene, we do a game.getFormFromFile to extract Kaiden's quest record, and then we do getStage on that. And if that returns true, we set a global variable to 1. So then when we get to that particular line at the end, to have a different variant for whether Kaiden knows his past, then we can do we can check the value of that global variable to see whether it's 1 or 0. So that is a slightly hacky way you can check things that aren't NPCs or locations, but it's really difficult. So those are the limitations, really, of doing patchless interactions. I hope that helps. I just rambled for a few minutes on that. I don't know whether any of it was useful. Like I say, I'm going to do a whole episode dedicated to this sort of interaction later on in the tutorial series. So do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you aren't already subscribed to that. There's a link under the stream, because that's where I'm posting all this sort of thing in the future. Okay, right. Next question. I'm glad that helped. Right, so, did I figure out this script myself? Yes. I figured out all this stuff. I wrote it myself. You will find the script get form from file. You'll find get form from file is documented and explained on the Creation Kit wiki. So have a look on that to see how that works. But all this implementation with mod checker and everything, that's all my stuff. But I will be putting all of that in my later tutorial. I'll be putting copies of that script on my website so you can copy and paste it and adapt it to your own purposes. Right, next question then was, do you know how potion level bypassing works from Creepy Creeper 691? No, I have no idea what that is. Sorry, I've never worked with potions before. I don't know what level bypassing even means. Sorry, I know you waited a while for me to answer that question. I don't know. I've no idea. Google it, though. And another good place to ask is usually the Nexus forums. They're very good at helping with all sorts of things. Or alternatively, Dark Fox's Discord is always worth a punt as well if you're looking for an answer to a particular niche aspect of modding. Nix89 says, out of curiosity, for Lucian's quest dungeon, how much did you supervise Jay Crudgemal's design? To be honest, what I did was it was a long time ago now, a couple of years ago, I was chatting with JK over Discord, and we talked about what we wanted for the dungeon, and I talked about the key elements that should appear in it. So I specified we had to have a room for the Oblivion Gate, and I specified... I believe I said I wanted it to feel lived in. You know, I wanted it to have those living spaces for the Dwemer to be in, so it felt like a real place rather than just a dungeon. Did I specify anything else? I think beyond that, and I talked about the big vault door. Because obviously that was part of the quest I wanted. I wanted to have that door the airlock system that would lock you in. And beyond that, I gave JK pretty much free reign to do whatever he wanted. So he made this whole dungeon. He came up with the concept of having those 3 distinct levels that you have. So you have that engine room and the core, which is the heart. And then at the top of the dungeon, you have the core itself, the AI core, where Doomsbathar resides. And he came up with the design for that. He was inspired by GLaDOS, I believe, in his design of it. And then I animated it. So that whole opening and closing thing I figured out how to do using Creation Kit stuff, following some tutorials on YouTube and things, and I animated him to turn around for that boss fight. So there were various stages in the process where JK sent me sort of in-progress screenshots and parts of the dungeon, that like work-in-progress versions of the dungeon, so I could take a look at it, and I had a few suggestions at various points of maybe we could tweak that. But most of Doomsbathar is JK's vision. And especially then the second dungeon Lucian has that you won't see until later in the year when I release Lucian's third quest is another fantastic JK creation that's just incredible. So I can't wait to show you guys that. But he's a genius. He can do things with level design that are really spectacular. So I can't praise him enough, honestly. Go and check out Dark End if you haven't done, because that is an amazing world space mod that I think really shows off his talent for level design as well. Right. I've not caught up with the chat in a little while. Right. Creepy Creeper says, for example, the way people bypass tiers in armor and weapon improvement is they use fortify, smithing, potions, enchantments. So in theory, if the exquisite tier with the perk is level 40, then at level 30 you use a potion giving 35%, you come to 40.5, which means you can improve to exquisite. Sounds like this isn't the case from my test. It looks like you need to bypass it by a few more levels when trying to do with potions. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry, I really don't know anything about what you're talking about, to be totally honest. I wish I could help more. I've got no experience in what you're describing. I'm really sorry. Hello, Bobzilla. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow, KGoPro. Hey, how are you doing? I need to reply to your message on Patreon. I'm sorry I haven't got around to doing that yet. You asked a few questions. So I'm writing you a lengthy response, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for the recommend, Valg, on the YouTube channel. Right, Bard says, Bard of Forja, whatever. How does Lucian's approval system work mechanically? Does it respond solely to interactions with him and things he has witnessed, or does it check things like quest stage to see what the choices the player has made? So what we have in JR Lucian Follower is we have a script here, which is the quest script, which is another. This is hacky. This is not the right way to do it by attaching it to the quest script, but it's what I did early on, and I can't change it now. But this has two variables in it, the approval and the bravery variable. And these are two numbers that vary. They're two variables that change. And what we have then, so those start off, I think, at 50 for approval and 0 for bravery. And then when you complete various milestones, so if you look here under JR Lucian Follower, Player Dialogue, is this the one I want? Actually, this isn't the one I want. Let's go with JR Lucian MQ, which is main quest, all his main quest dialogues in here. And if we look under, here we are, this is Lucian's dialogue about being worried about the dragon fight. I must admit I'm a little anxious about the idea of confronting a live dragon in battle. And then you get two options for how you respond to that, which is to either say, come with me or don't, Lucian, I haven't got time for cowardice, or don't worry, Lucian, stay close to me and you'll be just fine. And based on which one you chose, there's then a script that runs that says JR Lucian dragon.set stage 10, or alternatively JR Lucian dragon.set stage 11. And when that stage is then set in dragon, then those variables here, we call these functions now incdp stat 02. Now the stat 0 is approval, so that means if you choose this and you tell Lucian he'll be safe, then he gets 2 increase in approval, and he gets 2 increase in bravery. Whereas alternatively, if you tell him you haven't got time for cowardice, you lose 2 points in approval, but you gain 5 points in bravery. So there's all sorts of different points in his dialogue where these things are called, and at various points in his idle commentary on a particular quest. So if we go back to the main quest commentary and we look in his idle commentary, the comments he just makes as you go along. Maybe this one about needing to find an Elder Scroll. Get only quest.set stage 155. So these stages increase in this quest as you play the main quest. And then in some of them, here we go, when you ask Lucian about Elder Scrolls, then he gets 2 more approval. When you send Alduin packing for the first time, then you get 22 bravery. Why did I choose 22? I have no idea why I picked 22. I might have meant to write 2. Probably did mean to write 2, but you get 22. And you get 5 approval for doing that. So there's various different points in his idle dialogue and in his interaction dialogue where he'll get approval. So that's how I do it. It's all done through the comments that Lucian makes. I don't attach any scripts to the main quests themselves so that I don't conflict with anything. It's all done through when Lucian says a comment about something. That's when you might get approval on it. And it also goes up every time you train him. Whenever you train him, you get a boost to approval. So, right, hang on. All sorts of stuff in the chat. Hi people who joined. Sorry, I'm still catching up on the chat from earlier, but hello, new people. Welcome. I'm just sort of working my way through the questions in the chat. I don't know how much actual modding we'll get done today, but, right. So, question, is there any way to check if you've done a particular quest with a specific NPC following you? Like, later that follower could say, this reminds me of the time we did X if they were following you during the quest, but if they weren't, they wouldn't say anything. Right, so no. There is no inbuilt way in the engine to check whether an NPC was with you for a particular quest. So the way I do it is, like I was just saying with these stages, in Lucian's quest, this is his main quest commentary, each particular comment he'll make at different points in the quest will trigger a particular stage in this. So when Lucian says, I can't believe we're fighting Alduin, or whatever the line is, then it'll set, say, stage 155 or something. And then I can then later check whether stage 155 is equal to 1 or 0, whether it was set or whether it wasn't. And if it was set to 1, i.e. if Lucian got a chance to make his comment about the current thing that's currently happening, then I know he was with you for it. If Lucian didn't get a chance to say his line, so if he was still in Dead Man's Drink when you fought Alduin, so he would never have said that line, then that means this stage is never set, which means I can check, therefore, whether he was with you or not. It doesn't always work 100%, because sometimes the player might whiz through a particular part of a quest really fast, and Lucian might not even get a chance to say anything about it. And in that situation, I wouldn't know. Lucian wouldn't be able to make a comment on being with you. So in any situation where there's any potential for ambiguity, I make sure that if Lucian doesn't say something about it, he doesn't then say something like, oh, I wish I'd been with you for that quest. Because if I don't know for 100% that he either was or wasn't with you, then I'm just going to have him say nothing at all. So I try and err on the side of caution with that, because I think it's better for Lucian to stay quiet than to say something that doesn't make sense. So yeah, I check whether Lucian was with you for a particular quest by checking whether or not he got a chance to say his line about that part of the quest. Yes, Bard, saying, I routinely get lost in Doomspathar, so he did a good job of not making it the standard streamlined, this is a dungeon, not a living space thing. Yes, that's a thing we specifically went for. That's something JK wanted, and I wanted as well. We were both quite keen on that aspect of not just having a really linear quest where you just walk through a standard set of corridors. We wanted it to feel like an open, lived-in space, and we wanted it to be something that you could get lost in. I don't know how Lucian could ever be comfortable in Doomspathar 2 spook for me. Yes, it is spooky. We wanted it to be spooky. Hello, Spicy Spyro. That's Batty. Hi, welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. Hey, Hawk, welcome. Sorry, I know I'm so delayed because I'm still catching up on the chat, but hello, hello, hello. The bravery thing is such a neat addition. I love it. I'm really glad that you do. Orbeline says, hi Joseph, what are you planning to add on Lucian's mod? What do you mean today? Today I'm adding Lucian's Tundra Homestead spat. Can't talk. I'm adding Lucian's Tundra Homestead patch to give him interactions with the Tundra Homestead player home added by the Creation Club. In the general future, what am I planning to add to Lucian's mod? All sorts of stuff. You're getting commentary on Dawnguard, the Thieves Guild, later on the Dark Brotherhood, and the Civil War, all those sorts of things. I'm adding a third quest for Lucian with its own new dungeon created by JK, who made Doomspathar. I am adding more conversations for you to actually have with Lucian so that you can sort of get to know him a bit more, have more of that real bonding interaction stuff. I'm adding more songs for him to sing, so you can tell him sing for me. That's something I'm really keen to add. More books for him to read, and more spells for him to learn. And many more things besides that I haven't necessarily thought of. Just a smorgasbord. Smorgasbord? Don't really know how you say that word. Lots of different things. I'll be expanding it generally in all sorts of directions for the foreseeable future. Yinspirit says, what exactly changes as Lucian's approval/bravery increases and decreases? So it's a cosmetic thing. The main difference is he'll use different dialogue depending on those stats. So here, under his hellos, you can see this line, how are you doing, my friend? So he'll only call you my friend if your approval is above 70. So once you've done some quests with him, maybe trained him a bit, maybe asked him questions about his life and everything, that's when he'll start calling you my friend. But before that, you'll only get things like, hi, what can I do for you? And then at a lower point, you'll also get good to see you. You get that when your approval's above 60. On the other hand, if you start being mean to him, and there aren't many options for being mean to him, to be honest, so it's quite difficult to get his approval down low, but if you are able to get it below 20, which I don't think is actually even theoretically possible at the moment with the mod, but I am adding more ways to upset him in the future, so if you can get it below 20, he'll say, what do you want? Rather than hello, which I think is quite fun. And then also there are lines in his combat dependent on bravery, I think. You want to dance? Let's dance. He'll only say that if his bravery is greater than 30. So once he's a bit more confident. And then there are also lines in detection. So when the fight is over, initially you'll get, that was terrifying, when his bravery is less than 15. And is it over? Did we win? And then later on, when your bravery gets higher up, you'll get things like, when his bravery is greater than 30, you'll get another point to us. And then a lot of these combat dialogue, these things that detect the end of combat, in fact, all of them, when Lucian says a line like this, detecting that combat's ended, and it only triggers a very small amount of time. It won't happen at the end of every battle by any means. It's just every now and again. That's just how the engine works. It's not very good at detecting it. But when these trigger, Lucian gets a 1-point boost to bravery. So his bravery will go up over time as you win fights with him. And the other thing that happens is his personal quests and his training system, both of those are gated behind various approval requirements. You've got to get him to like you before he'll ask you to train him, and then before he'll offer you his personal quest. Hercules made Lucian in a vampire in your playthrough. That's not a very good plan because it'll probably break him. But good for you. If you do run into any issues, I'm afraid I won't be able to help you. It's also not something that will make him very happy, but that's completely your choice. So he wouldn't have his options if you didn't bring him to fight Alduin for the first time, but then brought him for season unending. What do you mean his options? I'm not quite sure, but the point is there'll be different dialogue. There is different dialogue unlocked at different times depending on whether Lucian was with you for the relevant quest or not. And that's also there to make sure... So I also have strict requirements to check whether Lucian was with you on various bits of the quest, so that when you pick him up in Dead Man's Drink, he doesn't immediately say, I'm so afraid that we're going to fight Alduin, or something. You know, he doesn't immediately comment on stuff he wasn't with you for. It's still not perfect. There are still things that he will say, which he wasn't there for, because it's all so blooming complicated and there's so many interacting systems, but I've done my best to try and make sure he doesn't comment on stuff he wasn't there for. Oh, and editing him in the creation kit, I definitely don't recommend, but again, you're welcome to do whatever you want for your personal use, so long as you don't come and post bug reports to me when it goes wrong. Batty says, is there any way to make your follower comment on how long they've been with the Dragonborn? Ooh, that one's a bit tricky. But yes, what you can do is you could use a script when you... Because there's a script called I think it's called Get Current Game Time, or it might be called Get Game Days Past. There is a global variable that will tell you the current date and time in the game. So you could use a script to save that date and time into a global variable, and then you could detect the time that you recruit him, and you could save that, and then you could do a condition then on dialogue you could add, say, 7 days to that date and time in another global variable. So you could add a new global variable, which is 7 days after you recruited him, and then you could check in a condition for the dialogue to see whether the current date and time is greater than that date and time that was, say, 7 days after you recruited him. So that would allow you to condition dialogue based on how long it's been since you recruited him. However, what that wouldn't work for is if the player either just recruited him and then stood and waited for 7 days. You wouldn't be able to get around that. That would just trigger it. Or alternatively, you recruited him, dismissed him, went and did something else for 7 days, then picked him up again. He would think he'd been with you for the whole time. And I'm not quite sure how you would get around that. Alternatively, you could have a particular scene with various different dialogue that you could set with a script to only play once per day, and each time it plays, you could increase a global variable by 1. So then you could count up over time. It's slightly hacky, but that might work for you. That might work better, because that would get around the issue with recruiting him, dismissing him, and then picking him up again. So yeah, maybe try something like that. Hope that helps. I assume Lucian is going to be strongly biased towards a given side in the Civil War. Yes, Lucian will be very much in support of the Empire, because that's his family. Does Lucian have any commentary for Dragonborn? Yes, he does. He has a few lines for Solstheim, and his personal quest is set on Solstheim, but he doesn't have any interactions yet for the Dragonborn main quest. That'll be coming in a future update. So he won't comment on the quests on Solstheim, but he has a couple of lines for Raven Rock and a few things for general things around Solstheim. And he also has a couple of lines for Castle Volkihar, and for using crossbows, but again, nothing major. That stuff is coming later on. Are there conditions you have to meet for Lucian to have different dialogue with other followers like Kaiden, as I might have missed some lines? Yeah, so some of the conversations will only play in certain places, so their Nordic Ruins conversation will only happen in a Nordic Ruin. His conversation where he offers Kaiden a health potion will only happen if you've just come out of a battle where Kaiden's health has been reduced to quite near 0. If Kaiden has been hurt, that will have Lucian offer him a health potion afterwards. So yeah, they are conditioned. But there's no super strict requirement, like you must have completed this stage of the main quest or anything for those conversations. No, I don't think so. Would Lucian be a Hufflepuff or a Ravenclaw? I think, yes. Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw would suit him fine, I think. How does the training work? Gosh, lots of questions today. Right, how does the training work? Always been confused by that. What exactly do you mean by how it works? Probably the best thing... I wrote an article about this on my website, so I think the best thing would be for me to just link you that article. And then once you've had a read of that, if you've got any particular questions about how I physically implemented it in the creation kit, like if you want to know how exactly I built it rather than how to use it, then I'd be more than happy to explain that. But I'll just link you the article in the chat. This is the article about Lucian's training system, so do click on that if you want to know. Yeah, does it boost those skills? So yeah, read the article on training and that'll tell you exactly how the training works. But yes, it'll boost the particular skill that you train him in. Stalia redeemed timeout. Right, hang on. Oh no, Stalia, you're not in the chat anymore, so I can't redeem your timeout because you're not here. So when you next come back into the chat, I'll redeem your timeout. If you're indeed even here. Valk redeemed hydrate. Check. He does have lines for being a werewolf. For not for him being a werewolf, for the player being the werewolf. So you should hear those when you do that. Hello, Caleb, and welcome to the stream. Sorry I was a while saying hello back to you. I've been catching up on all the questions in the chat. It's quite hard to keep up with it today. Spicy Spyro does a shout out to Grey. That I can certainly do. Grey, you got a shout out. She's in the corner of my room just outside of the camera, but she is there. She's asleep. But shout out from Spicy Spyro to you. I'll let her know when she wakes up. No worries if you can't/don't want to answer this now, but do you have any plans as to which major questline you'll add next? Yes, next I'm planning on doing Dawnguard. We had a vote on it on my Patreon ages ago. Really ages ago. To decide. We had a vote and everyone voted in a poll to decide which questline they wanted next, and Dawnguard won, closely followed by Thieves Guild. So I'll be doing Dawnguard next. It's just a matter of getting round to it because I have so many things going on so many times. So many different stuff I'm working on. But when I next sit down to do a major quest line, it'll be Dawnguard. Hey, Able Mind, welcome to the stream. Sorry I've taken a while to reply to you. I've been catching up on the chat. I'm quite far behind. It's quite difficult to keep up with it today. But hello, welcome. Really lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for being so kind about Lucian. I'm really glad you like him. Oh, and I finally caught up with the chat. There we go. I've caught up with all the questions now. I hope that was useful. If you guys have any more questions, please do fire away and I'll answer them. Oh, you'll probably get onto Dawnguard stuff first, Nuna, for sure. I need to get around to it. It's just time. And it'll take me a long time, a lot of actual work to implement the Dawnguard stuff as well. But there we go. Right, so... Tundra Homestead patch. After 45 minutes of the stream, we'll get onto the actual work. But this is what this stream is for, you know. This is why it's a modding workshop stream, so you guys can ask questions and I can answer them. So I'm really happy to have this back and forth. I think this is great. This is exactly the intention with these streams. My knowledge is yours to siphon as you will. Yes, Dawnguard is a bit spaghetti, that is true. Right, so what am I looking for now? I need to do... We're going to go to show only active forms, and we're going to bring up the Tundra Homestead quest that we created. Oh, thanks, Ladybugs. That's nice of you to say. Oh, see you, Valk. Thanks so much for stopping by for as long as you did. It's been lovely having you here. And thanks for the sub again. That was really kind of you. Bye. Right. Serana and Lucian interactions are tricky because I would have to splice all that dialogue together because, for some reason, I can't get Laura Bailey to record dialogue with me. I mean, to be fair, I've not tried asking, but I think legally that would be a very difficult one to do, and also, she's not going to have time. So that I'm not going to be able to write new scenes for them like I did for Ori and Kaiden and Hoth. But I might be able to splice some things, but it won't be much. So please don't have big expectations on Lucian actually talking to Serana, because splicing dialogue is a nightmare. It's so hard. I hate doing it. Oh, posture check. Sorry. Thank you. Hawk says... Also, Joseph, you know how May and Shiva are making Odie into a follower, right? Well, they have now chosen a voice actor for him, and I give you 3 guesses as to who they are. Well, that might be the surprise that Shiva had. I don't know. I'm not going to start guessing. But it's really cool that they've chosen a voice actor, and I'm sure they'll tell me who that is when they want to. But that's awesome. And I'm really excited for the Odie follower. That'll be really cute. Unless it's you, Orc. But... which, of course, it could be. In which case, you're very welcome to tell me. But, yeah, can't wait for the Odie follower. Nuna redeemed Make Me Sing. For Let It Go. Well, I can try and rattle that one off. I'm going to have to look up the lyrics, I'm afraid. And I'm not going to give you the whole song, but you can have a bit of it. I'll be honest, there's a lot of the tune I can't really remember either. So this is going to be a slightly remixed version. But... the snow glows white on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be seen. A kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. I'm making up the tune there. Couldn't keep it in, heaven knows I've tried. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know. Let it go, let it go. I can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn around and slam the door. Oh, I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. Ta-da! There you go. Little bit of that. Just a little bit. Right. Oh, awesome, Hawk. You're going to be voicing them after all. Well, that's really cool. Good for you. Yes, get yourself a good mic. But great. Brilliant. I'll be very fascinated to hear what your Odie voice sounds like. I'll be doing a tutorial on recording voice acting for Skyrim, by the way, in 2 episodes' time. The episode after the next one. So there's this episode that's coming out next. We'll tell you how to set up the custom follower framework, which you don't need to know. But the episode after that will be on recording in Audacity and how to do good compression and normalization and all of that. So do check that one out. It might be useful to you. But cool! Good! Exciting! See ya, Ninja! Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Bart. That's very kind of you to say. Just made my 5-year-old squeal with happiness. Oh, that's cute. I'm glad I could brighten your day. Oh, thanks for the bits, Nuna. Sorry it didn't gling because my speakers put themselves on sleep mode when there's not any sound for a little while. Thank you, that's very kind. Question about voice acting. How would you say voice acting with odd accents is received, especially accents that aren't seen in the game's universe? It's fine. It's fine, really. You know, you can always justify it. There's pretty much no accent that you can't justify because you can always say you're from a strange, obscure part of Tamriel. You know, you can be a Khajiit with a northern accent if you want, because you can have been raised by Nords. You can have a European accent of any kind and pass that off as either Nordic or Breton. American, you can get away with Imperial, or Redguard, or anything really. You can do anything. Doesn't matter. And you know, if someone decides they take issue with your accent, stuff them. Do what you find fun. If you want to make a follower mod, don't let your accent stop you. The more important thing, I think, is that you make yourself sound engaged and in character. Make yourself sound believable, and it doesn't matter what your accent is, because that's just how your character speaks. Just commit to it. You know, get into the role. Don't sound like you're just reading the lines out. Really try and sound like you're saying them to another person. But if you do that, you can sound however you want. Do you have any plans for tutorials on voice slicing in Audacity? I did similar things for Move Up, but some lines sound off. Oh, you mean when you're splicing dialogue together? To be honest, I find that really difficult. I do it in Cubase, because that's my audio software of choice. I prefer not to use Audacity for that sort of thing. But it's the actual act of slicing lines up isn't particularly tricky. Of, you know, chopping the dialogue into parts. It's just highlighting bits and cutting and pasting, I find. It's just difficult to make it sound good. That's just fundamentally difficult to write dialogue, to write conversations that are composed of lines that are already from a database that you can't change anything about. That is really hard, fundamentally. It's a really difficult thing to get right. Waribiki/Merrigan, who makes Ori, does a fantastic job with the Inigo interaction lines between Ori and Inigo. So that is a fantastic example that you could take a look at for how to do splicing well, I think. She does a lot better job than I do. We also thought up a proper reason for why this version of Odie has aged up a teenager instead of IDK Dragonbreak. Oh, cool! Can't wait to hear. And yes, Nuna, lots of planets have a north. That's Doctor Who throwing away the entire concept of caring about accents, and it's perfect. I support that so much. This idea of lots of provinces have a north. You know, you can be from northern elsewhere. You know, it doesn't matter. An accent is the least of your worries. Czech accent would work for High Elves. You could be from an obscure part of an island off the coast of Somerset or anything, really. Although I always think High Elves should sound like they have a Somerset accent. You know, a Somerset accent. I'm a High Elf from Somerset. Have you seen my tractor? Need to get me to the Thalmor Embassy. I've got a brand new racist agenda. I'm going to take over Tamriel. And so on and so forth. What would you say if Lucian came across a Breton necromancer who is second in power to the King of Worms himself? I imagine he'd be rather upset and cross with said person. He wouldn't be particularly keen on them because necromancers aren't really his thing. He finds them pretty morally dubious, considering you're using the dead as puppets to kill people. So not really keen on necromancers, so he probably wouldn't be very happy with them, or probably want to assist the Dragonborn in taking them down. That is not a cowboy accent. That was Somerset accent. It's a very specific thing, which is a British cowboy. But it does cross over very closely to pirate. Somerset and pirate are very, very similar. Hello, Sonic Man. Welcome to the stream. Right, so, modding. That's what we're doing. Modding. Moddy but mod face. Modding. Modding. Screen with camera. Oh, good morning, Gray. You got a shout out a little while ago. Do you want to go? I think she wants to go. Right. Yen Spirit says she'd like to hear me try an American accent. Well, this is probably the best that I can do. Yeehaw! I don't really know which part of America this accent's from. It's possibly a little bit of Texas. I don't really know. I'm Cave Johnson, and I think this accent's ridiculous. Yeehaw! Anyway, right, modding. So, we had various lines about the Tundra Homestead. We had all this stuff. Where did we get to? We had this place is for sale. Oh, be careful voicing an Argonian, because you'll notice there aren't really any Argonian followers in the game of consequence. There aren't many of them. Certainly no massively in-depth ones like Serana. And there's a very good reason for that, because it's really difficult to sound like an Argonian for any length of time without doing a real number on your vocal cords. Seriously, trying to talk like that for 3,000 or 5,000 lines or whatever is going to absolutely wreck your voice. So just be really careful if you set about doing an Argonian follower. Drink a lot of honey and tea and stuff. Take it gently. Do not push yourself too hard, because you can really do yourself irreparable damage by straining your voice like that. The other thing I was going to say is that, on the other hand, Inigo, of course, has that particular voice, which is really scratchy. A complete vocal transformation for Gary, who does it, and he's absolutely fine. So, you know, there's always an exception to the rule, but yeah, I would steer clear of any accent that feels uncomfortable to you. Yeah, there's Anum La, sure. Yeah, I'm saying they are there in mods, but the vanilla game didn't really go for it. And there are very few Argonian voice mods, and I just want, just be careful. You know, I'd hate for you guys to start trying to make a follower mod that's an Argonian and ruining your vocal cords, because that sort of stuff you can damage, and it can never get better. Like, you can do yourself permanent vocal damage by trying to do that. So just take it easy, definitely. Good morning, Vickle. Welcome to the stream. It's actually evening, so you're wrong, but good evening. Right. Place for sale. We had that about buying it. We had stuff about the interior. We had the baking surface. We had the bar. We had the writing desk. We had the beds all in one room. We had the dummy. We had the enchanting table. We had potions. We had books. We had the cellar. And we had another comment about the cellar. So I think we've pretty much done the interior of the Tundra Homestead. So now we need to look at doing the exterior. So let's load that up. Hello, welcome back, Ninja. Right, so here we are in the Tundra Homestead, and we're going to turn it around, and we're going to immediately leave by using this marker here. If we just right-click on that and press Edit, it'll let us go outside. Funny little hacky aspect of the CK. Why is it? Nobody knows. That's what we do. Right. So this is the outside of the Tundra Homestead. Things we can comment on. Little farm allotment round the back. Can I have a line about that? what should we say? By the way, if Lucian met a necromancer but used his/her powers for good, obviously there'll be a lot of Dragonborns who are necromancers who Lucian will travel with quite happily, and that's fine, you know. But I think there's something morally inherently wrong in necromancy that's to be discussed there. You know, the very act of defiling corpses and raising them to fight for you is a bit grim. And I think that's always going to be an issue for Lucian. But he's certainly not something he'd leave you over. It's just tricky for him, I think. See you, Sonic Man. Been nice to have you here. Right. So, we don't want get in cell anymore. We're going to do a get distance check. Get distance. On that idle marker, that'll do. We're going to set that to be 300. We may need to change this. Right. Hydrate! If the adventuring thing doesn't work out, you could always become a farmer. Well, that's a good line for a farm, for the general farm. I don't know whether that's necessarily a line we want for this particular allotment here, because it's more of a garden, really, than a farm, isn't it? Hello, Laura Wolfsong 18. Welcome. No, not 18, 16. Sorry, got your name wrong. Hello, Laura Wolfsong 16. Welcome to the stream. Here's an idea for the garden. Sweet roll tree. Think about it. I'm sure it's possible. If you throw enough magic at it. Here's an idea for the garden. A sweet roll tree. Think about it. I'm sure it's possible if you throw enough magic at it. And this is sort of a joke more than anything else, so we'll go with emotion 50 of happy. Do 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 do. Right, so I have that there. That's pretty much all we need for a little garden, I think. Unless you guys think of anything else. Yeah, maybe let's steer the chat away from mustard gas, if you guys can possibly see a way to doing that, please. Thank you. Trying to keep this cheerful. Right. Oh, thanks so much, Laura. That's nice of you to say. And hello, fellow Brit. Represent. The vast majority of Lucian's audience is American, but it's lovely to come across another Brit every now and again. I'd love a sweet roll tree. I remember in Sooty and Sweep, they had a sausage tree at one point, and I thought that was amazing. I think Sweep managed to grow one with magic. It was crazy. Okay, so crafting area down here. And we'll go with this marker, the wall lean marker. That'll do. And in the middle here, very sensible idea, keeping the blazing forge away from the house. Good fire safety. Shame about the massive dragons that can swoop down at any time. I suppose it's always hard to account for those. It's just the sort of drivel Lucian normally says. And save, because the creation kit crashes willy-nilly at any time. More questions in the chat. Oh, he could comment about the firewood pile. Possibly. If you add dialogue for the Hearthfire homes in the future, would you have Lucian give you pointers for how to develop them? He's not really an architect. That's not one of his specialities, so probably not. I mean, I guess he might ask for a library. Besides Bruma and Legacy, what other quest mods would you ever want Lucian to interact with? Oh, all of them! I'd love to do all the quest mods for Lucian to have interactions with. I'd like to do Falscar and Worm's Tooth. Those are a couple of my favourite world space mods that I think would be good fun to do. Other quest mods. The trouble with a lot of quest mods is they aren't built with followers in mind. So there's various ones like Wheels of Lull and Forgotten City, etc., where you aren't supposed to bring followers to them. They're designed to be played without followers. Same for Clockwork. So I wouldn't want to give Lucian interactions with those because I'd want to respect the author's wishes. Dark End interactions is something I'd like to do at some point. Got plans for that. Any other major ones? Obviously, all of Beyond Skyrim when that comes out. Those are my immediate plans. And to be honest, any quest mod I'd always like to do interactions for as they come up. And there'll be loads I haven't thought of. But my immediate priorities for quest mods, I think, are these Creation Club patches, because I want to get on them at the moment, because it's a good time to do that. And they fit well with these streams. And then Beyond Skyrim, I really want to do, because that gets requested all the time. And Legacy, because that gets requested all the time. Do followers accumulate firewood or other resources when they use those interaction things? No idea. Maybe. Are you going to have Lucian say anything about Hearthfire homes having a shrine of Talos in it? No, I don't think I would be able to detect that. That sounds like a very difficult thing to detect. I don't really know how I'd go about doing that. That would be tricky. So probably not. What's the hardest thing when it comes to modding? Bug reports. Bug reports are the hardest thing. Specifically, the annoying ones. When people post bug reports for stuff that is on their end, that's the hardest thing, I think. Because when someone posts a bug report, that shows up as a number on my Nexus page. You know, there's a bug count that increases. And when you let that number get high enough, you start getting comments of people saying, oh, wow, didn't realize this mod was so buggy. Tracking for now. I'll download when the bugs are fixed. And things like that. And then you look through the bug reports, and they're things like people who were trying to manage Lucian with a follower management mod, or they're people who tried to turn him into a vampire, etc., etc., or are using some crazy mod that conflicts with everything. But I don't know that. They'll just put a bug report saying, Lucian doesn't follow me. Help. And then the onus is on me then to respond to that bug report and to help them figure out what's wrong with their game. And if I don't do that, I'm stuck with that number forever of a bug report sitting in there that people then blame me for. And alternatively, I could just tick it and say, I'm not going to deal with this problem. But then there could be a legitimate problem with my mod that they've discovered. I have to find out whether it was on their end or whether it was on my end. 99% of the time it's on their end. But that's what takes the most time, I think. So if you're ever about to post a bug report on someone's mod, do take the time to try and troubleshoot it yourself first, because it can really slow down development if mod authors are having to try and find issues that aren't issues with their mod if they're on your end. Oh, interesting NPCs. I'd love to do loads of interactions with that. Yeah, sure. Vigilant I've never played, but I've heard good things about. But I think that's another one where you're not supposed to bring followers with you, so I think that might be tricky. Would Lucian even care if the Dragonborn has a Shrine of Talos? No, not really. Lucian's happy for you to worship whoever you want. He's not invested in the White Gold Concordat. He's not going to turn you in for worshipping Talos. It doesn't matter to him. Oh, thanks, Spicy Spyro. That's good to hear. Yes, so he does... there is an issue at the moment with his automatic catch-up system where he will occasionally follow you to places he shouldn't do. I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure it out. The latest update has a few fail-safes in there now to physically remove him if he's in Apocrypha or various other places that are known candidates for it, but I still haven't quite nailed down what exactly was causing him to come with you in the first place. So I do need to do some more investigation into that. Oh, Nuna, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. That's really lovely. Thank you so much, Nuna. Oh, and thanks for the follow, Laura. No, we haven't played Clockwork in the Lucien the Dragonborn in my Dragonborn series. We have done Forgotten City, which is probably what you're thinking of. So Lucian has interactions with Forgotten City in that, but we've never done Clockwork in Lucien the Dragonborn. Is there ever going to be a summon Lucian ability like other followers get? No, it's not planned at the moment because it just opens a whole can of worms of being able to bring Lucian to all sorts of places you shouldn't be able to bring followers. And it's a nightmare. And immersion breaking when you can do that and he has nothing to say about it. And also it allows you to bring him to places where he'll then get stuck. And it doesn't make sense with the lore because why would you allow someone to summon you at any time? That doesn't make sense. There might be something I can do in the future with the resonance sphere to potentially allow a sort of call Lucian function that potentially allow you to make him travel overland to you on foot so that he'll catch up with you within like half a day or something, possibly. But I'm going to see whether what the implementation of that is like and whether it is or isn't doable. So watch the space on that. There might be something I can do with that, but I'm not planning on doing just a summon. Ah! Tiny Lucian! We forgot to summon him for the stream. Hold on a second and I'll bring him out. Here he is. Here's our little buddy. How you doing, Tiny Lucian? Joseph, for the idea of darkened interactions, what would Lucian react to the book that's in the mod? Yeah, the book I wrote that's in the mod. It's The Storm and Her Captain, which you can also find on my website. It's a non-Elder Scrolls version on my website, or the Elder Scrolls version is in the game. What would he say about it? He would read it. I'm definitely going to record him reading it. I think that would be fun. He'd find it a bit spooky, I think. I think he'd enjoy it. Be a fan of the author, want to read more. Can you tell us which College of Winterhold mod you're using, if any? I'm using the College of Winterhold Ruins Expanded mod. I can tell you that. Just to make the ruins a bit bigger. The Winterhold ruins expanded to add more ruins around Winterhold. I'm not using any specific college mods. Will Lucian ever have comments on the Dark Brotherhood questline? Yes, he will at some point, but it's not an immediate thing. No, off you go. It's not an immediate thing. That won't come for a while. But yes, at some point I'd like to do interactions with Dark Brotherhood questline. No, it's absolutely fine to hit me up with questions on the stream. That's what it's for. I'm here to answer your questions. I've only got this mod to work on as something to do while you guys aren't answering questions. But if you guys just want to ask me questions all stream, that's perfectly fine. A Lucian plushie would be adorable. Please send Pixie in spirit. In your tutorial series, do you plan on showing how you do patchless interactions? And if you made a follower, would you want him to talk to Lucian? Yes, I talked about this earlier in the stream. You must not have been here. Yes, I will be doing an episode dedicated to patchless interactions and how to set them up. And I'll be demonstrating that by setting up patchless interactions between Jacuzzi and Lucian. So yes, you will see. And if I made a follower, would you want him to talk to Lucian? Yes, I love doing interactions between Lucian and anyone's follower. I'm always up for that. The issue is time. Because if I'm going to write scenes between Lucian and your follower, I need to know your follower well enough to write conversations for them. And I just don't have time to start downloading loads of different people's followers and getting used to them. I'm sorry, I barely have time to mod as it is. So what I would need if we wanted interactions is, number one, for your follower to already be close to release. Because I've been burned before on setting up interactions for a follower mod that then got abandoned. You know, that happens because things happen in their lives. People don't always have time to finish their mods. So I don't work on interactions with mods that are still in early development stages. But when you're getting near to release, I'm more than happy to work on it with you. And the other thing is, I would really need you to write the outlines of the conversations. If you want Lucian to interact with your follower, you need to have already outlined the conversations yourself with what you think Lucian would say to your follower, and then I will come along and I will tweak the lines to make them fit with what I think Lucian would say, to make sure it matches with him. But I really do need that from the author of the follower mod I'm doing interactions with, because otherwise I can't write it, because I can't get to know your follower to write your lines for you. So yeah, we'd have to do it that way around, I think. But if you are happy to do that, I would be delighted to record Lucian interactions with you. Yes, of course. How does backporting from SE to LE work? Is it easier to go from LE to SE? It is much easier to go from LE to SE, and you'll find guides for doing that online. It is possible to go from SE to LE. I'm going to do an episode on that later on in the tutorial series, I think. People will tell me it, but people say it's not a good idea. So very, very well-respected modders like Arthmore think it's a really bad idea to backport. So definitely listen to them because they know what they're talking about. However, Lucian is developed on SE and backported to LE. That's how he's been done, that's how he's always been done, and we've never found any problems with that. We've never run across any issues with that. So it seems in practice to work, but your mileage may vary and you may discover that it doesn't work for your follower mod. I don't know. It's unreliable, and there's very few guides online. There are no guides online for how to do it. However, it's possible to do mostly in Xedit, in SSE Edit. The process is basically, there's a script you can use to renumber all the form IDs, and then you resave it in the LE creation kit when you've done that. And generally, that sorts most of the problems. There's also, you have to edit any meshes. Any meshes and textures that were made for SE. You'll have to edit them to make them into the right format for LE. That's the other issue, but that is also doable with tools online. This might be a little random, but can you try a Canadian accent? No, I have one accent for the entire content of America, which is the sort of cowboyish one I did earlier. The Texas accent, whatever, and that's it. So, I mean, I can also try and, oh my god, sort of Valley Girl. Oh my god, that is so fetch. That's the thing people say. In Mean Girls, isn't it? I've never actually seen that. Oh my god, that is so awesome. I really want a burger. I want a hot dog. Something like that. Can sort of do that. But no, I can't do Canadian. I don't really know what that sounds like. Sorry. Lucian and Odie interactions, we would have to do Lucian and Odie interactions. I couldn't let Odie come out without having anything for Lucian to say about him. Yes, definitely get your mod playtested if you're backporting, or indeed just generally. Playtesting is a hugely important part of the mod developing process, and you'll find there's loads of people online who are more than happy to try out new mods, especially in my little community on Discord. So yeah, definitely test your mod first. But if you're going to release on either SE or LE, and not both, definitely make sure it's SE, because that is much more popular. I'm saying a controversial thing that everyone will go mad at me about, but in my experience, I've found I have a much bigger audience on SE than I do on LE, and my general understanding is that while there are more players who own LE than there are SE, they tend not to be playing anymore, because the current cohort of players, from the people who are currently playing Skyrim often at the moment in 2020, there tend to be, in my experience, many, many more of them on SE than there are on LE, I find. So my recommendation would be to prioritize SE for your mod. Make sure you're on that. That's the most important thing. And that is the most up-to-date and stable version of Skyrim. So, and also, you have a much better creation kit on SE. If you use Nukem's creation kit fixes on the 64-bit creation kit, you'll have a much better experience than using the classic 32-bit creation kit, because that crashes all the time and is a buggy mess. This is amazing and sleek and lovely. Hydrate! Oh, that dress is darling! I think it is amazing that a nearly 10-year-old game has such a strong player base. Hawk has redeemed emote-only chat, so you guys are only going to be talking in emotes for the next 5 minutes. So enjoy. Have fun with your emotes. Sorry, won't be one sec. Right. Many emotes in the chats. All sorts of different emotes being used. Wonderful. I like the doggos. They're cute. Doggo emotes are best. Oh, and some Lucian sweet roll emos. Very nice. Right. Okay. So that keeps you... that puts a lid on the questions for a bit so I can work on the mod, doesn't it? So thanks for that, Hawk. Right. Okay. Oh, catos. Many catos. Very cute. Oh, and a flying Lucian. I like. Right. So now we're going to have a line. I think I know what I want this line to be on. This line. Oh, we had an idea about a wood pile, didn't we? Here's the wood pile. So we're going to do get distance, reference, selected ref. This. Collision marker for the wood pile. Yeah, that'll do. Get distance is less than 300. Ooh, of course. For this now, for these outside things, I also need to check that Lucian is in the same cell as these things, or that they're loaded in order to make sure that the distance returns properly. In same cell works better, I think, so I'm going to do that. Get in same cell. Now this was the garden we wanted here. Any of these will probably do, but it would be ideal if we had the same one. Nope. There we go. Idle farming marker. Gotta have that in there. Because otherwise, that distance check will return 0 at any point when it's not loaded. So if you travel too far away so that this section unloads, that distance check will return 0 and trigger. So he'll think he's near it even when he's miles away. Now, where was the forge? The idle lean marker. This is what we wanted here now. We want, again, get in same cell as this target here. Nope. This one. Nope. This one. There we go. Done. Good. Happy with that. Many emotes still in the chat. You guys have a lot of interesting emotes. Where'd you get them all? You can't tell me because you can't chat. But, oh, some Nat 20 emotes. I like those. Oh, and the crying sad Lucian. Oh, no. Right, so the log pile now we were on, weren't we? Get in same cell again, and we're going to set the target to... Here we go, and it's been 5 minutes, so I'm going to turn emote only chat off again. Hope you enjoyed. Welcome back, people. You may now speak. Oh, you've got to go. See you, the K-Grow Pro. Thanks for joining us for as long as you did. I'll hit you up on Patreon when I get a chance. What does Lucian think of house cats? Dark Fox is making a cat mod. There are already several cat mods, to be honest, already on the internet. I'm probably not going to be doing interactions with them because there are so many other mods to do interactions with already, you know. Lucian has a cat. Oh, thanks for the bits, Miss Toasty. Yeah, Lucian has a cat, which Inigo reminds him of, canonically. But I don't think I'll be planning on doing interactions with cats in the world anytime soon. But he loves them. Cats are cute. Cats are the best. Just learned how to say I'm not an engineer in Irish. That's an excellent thing to be able to say, Nuna. Well done. See you, Baby Bill. What is a trinket emote? I know not what this is. Not a question, but I was... Oh, hello, Gelidity. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, okay, right. Not a question, but I was catching up on a previous stream and noticed how you said you are choosing CC content to cover them based on being compatible with Legacy. I chuckled since I only started making Legacy's CC patches because Lucian had a patch for Umbra and I wanted to figure out how to make it work nicely with Legacy. Oh, that's hilarious. That's a weird sort of causal loop that you made your patches because of mine and I'm making my patches to fit around yours. Yeah, so it's your... What I'm doing is I'm avoiding your CC disabled patches because I know you've got a bunch of patches which turn off the Creation Club content, like your Chrysamere one and your Knights of the Nine and your Stendar's Hammer. Well, I did Stendar's Hammer before I started properly being aware of the Legacy CC patches. But I'm going through the list and I'm skipping the ones that have one of your CC disabled patches so that I'm making sure all my patches still work for people who have Legacy, because I want to do a Legacy interaction patch at some point and I want it all to work together. And I don't want people to have to pick and choose whether they use the Legacy patch or the Lucian CC patches. So yeah, I'm skipping the ones that you disable with your patches at the moment. That's my plan, if that makes sense. Thanks for joining on the stream. And again, massive thank you for all your work on the Legacy CC patches. They're brilliant. I love that they're being properly integrated together like that. I think it's fantastic. I love it when mods interact. I just find that so cool, which is why I'm doing so many interaction patches for Lucian, because I find it makes them feel so much more legitimate. Like when mods talk about each other, it makes them feel like a proper part of the world rather than all being separate, distinct things. Would it be possible to make a quest in a dungeon where the main character gets incapacitated and you play as a follower for a bit? Would it be possible? I mean, I know it's possible to play as other NPCs. Yes, in Worm's Tooth, you mind control a Draugr and you play as a Draugr for a little bit. So yes, it is possible. I don't know how, because I've never done it, but it is definitely doable. Gelidity, I'm trying to make a CC-enabled version of Stendar's Hammer and Chrysamere patches. Awesome! Well, in that case, I'll do when you've done that, I'll do a Lucian Chrysamere patch at some point. Cool. That's really good to know. Look forward to that. We already have the Stendar's Hammer patch, obviously. But that'll be great. I like having the CC-enabled stuff, but I appreciate when you've already got versions of those artifacts in Legacy, it's difficult to justify having both quests. But yeah, cool. Yeah, you can't get the quest out of your log without stealing. I'm not a fan of that either, but what can you really do about it? Yeah, I totally agree, Gelidity. Cool, it's nice to have someone who gets it. You know, that's that. We seem to be sort of on the same wavelength with interactions, which is cool. So, massive fan of your work. Thank you so much for doing it. Makes me very happy. And it's great in Lucien the Dragonborn in the series, you know, the way we could hang Jiggalag's sword, the way we could hang it up on the thing, which was nice. And the way we could make the displays for all the Saints and Seducers stuff. So this was now a line about firewood. When you have followers together and they interact, it kind of feels like a Dungeons & Dragons party in a way. Well, for me, it was inspired by Dragon Age. I wanted to recreate the experience that you have of party banter in Dragon Age, because I think that's brilliant. And I wanted to try and bring that to Skyrim a bit more, which is why I've been so keen to do interactions, sort of banter between followers. Oh, thanks, Gelidity. I'm very glad to hear that. There's a console command called TC that lets you do that. Brilliant. Well, that's probably all there is to it then. I bet there's a script to do that. Is there a possibility that you will merge your plugins in the future? People always ask this, but the thing is, if I merged all my CC plugins together, it would mean you need to have every single Creation Club file to use them, which very few people have. It's very expensive. So, I don't know. There will be a lot of work for me to merge them together, and then if I release any new patches, I then have to update the merged version as well, which is a nightmare. So... and only a very small number of people will be able to use it. Only people who had all the Creation Club files. So I don't really know whether that would be the best plan. I'm not quite sure of what the right solution to that would be. I have ESL flagged. All of these files are ESL flagged, so if you're on PC, they don't count towards your load order, which is sort of the best I can do to try and save your load order with that. I also love Dragon Age. I loved Dragon Age 2. I think it gets a really bad rep. Right, so. Logs. Firewood. Look, a pile of firewood. Turns out there's somewhere you can put it. So, your friends don't have to lug it around all the time. Hint, hint. Ahem. Somewhere you can put it so your friends don't have to lug it around all the time. Hint, hint. So there, for that, I'm going to put a condition on that now to say get item count for firewood. Firewood 01. It's got to be greater than or equal to. If Lucian has more than 5 pieces of firewood on him. No, let's take that down a bit. Let's leave it at 1. No, 2. 2 bits of firewood, that'll do. That's enough for this line to make sense. Great. Oh, and we also ought to put a condition check on there because I'm saying friends. If I'm going to use the word friend, Lucian has to like you vaguely. So for that, we're going to use getVM quest variable. So we're going to check Lucian's approval. So we're going to go to JR Lucian follower. And the variable we're going to use is approval var, their approval variable. And we're going to check that that is greater than or equal to, let's say, let's go with 60. So he'll only say this line about firewood if your approval is greater than 60. That seems pretty good. The firewood count, of course, has to be greater than that. Cool. Are the legacy interactions going to be for Legacy of the Dragonborn mod on Nexus, or is it a different mod? No, that's what I mean. It's the interactions for Legacy of the Dragonborn. Yes. Is this tiny Lucian publicly available? Yes, you can pick him up on the Discord. If you search Discord back for the word Shimiji, Shimeji, you'll find it. Shiva made Tiny Lucian, or rather, Shiva made his art. Shimiji is developed by an independent developer, so Shiva cannot help you with any bugs you may have with him, but you can find him on our Discord. I'm sort of thinking vaguely I might put him on the Nexus sometime on Lucian's mod page under MISC, but I want to sort of test things first, you know, before I'm distributing a file I don't really know too much about. Inquisition is a great game. Varric is the best. Oh, Varric. What a lad. What a man. Well, dwarf. Big Varric fan. Right. Dum 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 dum. Now, the last thing I wanted to comment on, I think, is over... Oh, there's the stables over here. Collision marker. That's the collision marker for the hay, I think. That'll do. Get in same cell equals 1. And then distance to this one has to be less than 300 again. Sort of this here. Good. Less than 300. Don't need firewood. Don't need to worry about that. And this is going to be... Hey! Sorry, no. Hey. No, not hay. Hey. Hey, there's hay. Hey, hey. Hey! No, not hay. Hey! Hey, there's hay. Hey, hey. This is the sort of drivel I write. How quickly is Lucian's approval supposed to build? It's not time related. It's based on, you ask him his questions about his life and whatever, and if you do quests with him and train him, that's how it goes up. It's nothing to do with how long he's been with you. It's just how many quests he recognises that he's done with you. You know, when he says his commentary on quests that he recognises, his approval will gradually go up. So it's based on that, really. No, not hay. Hey. Hey, there's hay. Hey, hey. Cool. That'll do. Save that. How do you pronounce that? Is it Owo? Owo. Oh, woe is me. Now the final thing... Here we go. Ah! Bee! Thank goodness. Can't have the poor little chap using his sting on me. That would be awful for him. Yes, stream is still going. I'm still here. Hope dinner was good. If you exhaust his dialogue trees and have a lot of CC content that he knows and try to get out of the way really quickly, he loves you very fast. I mean, yeah, that'll probably work. He doesn't get much approval from the CC content, but yeah. Yes, it's the point with this is it's the bee he's worried about, not actually getting stung. Because Lucian likes the bees. We must protect the bees. Because they are beautiful. See you, Nix89. Lovely to have you here. Have a great rest of your day. Happy time zone. Wherever you are. Righto, so. Do male bees have stings? Do male bees have stingers, or is it the females? Drone bees, the males are larger and do not have stingers. It's the female bees that have stingers. Right. Change that. Wouldn't be chap then. Can't have the poor little deer using her sting on me. That would be awful for her. There we go. Got to be correct with our biology here. Is Lucian allergic to anything? Not that I know of. I haven't written anything that he's allergic to, but I can always add that in if I want to. Sweet rolls. No, that would be a proper Greek curse, wouldn't it? To love them like he does, but be allergic to them. Your game froze. Disaster. Right, so we're going to save there, and I think this is all the dialogue that we need. I think we've commented on pretty much every aspect of the Tundra Homestead there is to comment on. I think. Unless we want just some more general idle lines just for being in the homestead. Possibly. We could have. This is the condition. That's the one we want. We could have just some general ones for being there. Right. So I'm going to do this. Paste condition. Getting current location. House int location. Is it possible for me to keep Odoving perched at my house? I don't know how you could necessarily get Odoving to stay there. I think that would be tricky. That would be very likely to interfere with the main quest if you started messing with Odoving. So I'd probably encourage you not to do that. Does Lucian have any dialogue about Odoving? Not when you summon him, but he does have dialogue for you flying off on Odoving at the end of the main quest, yes. I was under the impression that all bees encountered outside a hive were male and that the queen bees were the sole female. Well, I just quickly googled, do male bees have stingers? And it says no, they don't have stingers. Female bees, worker bees, or queen bees are the only ones that sting you. So it's the worker bees that are the ones that can sting. So it must be the worker bee. The female worker bees are the ones flying around outside the hive that will sting you. That's what Dr. Google says. So... Oh, homestead, homestead, there's nowhere I'd rather have as home instead. Little song. But obviously females do come out the hive on occasion because people do get stung by bees. So maybe they're not supposed to come out the hive, but they do. Anyway. I do love our little home in the tundra. Don't you? There we go, that'll do. Great! I think this is all the dialogue we need, so it's probably time to start recording it, unless any of you have any last thoughts of lines we could have. Any last suggestions? Otherwise, be ready to spend the last hour or so recording this dialogue. Although, in fact, just while you guys think of any last lines, I'm going to take a very quick break. I'm going to be about 5 minutes or so, I reckon. It shan't be long. I'm going to go on that break and then get myself a cup of tea, actually, so maybe it might be 10 minutes. But no more than 10, and then I'll be right back for us to do some recording and add some audio to these lines, okay? Cool stuff. I will see you all again really soon. Be right back. There we go, audio. Hello! I'm back! Sorry about that. We had a little blip while I was on my break, which caused the stream to go offline. That's caused me to lose half the viewers. So half of you have now gone. But hey, doesn't matter. Those of you who stayed, thank you very much for staying. Like I said in the chat, I will never drop offline for the evening without telling you. I will always let you know first if I'm going to be ending. So if it ever drops offline, it's not intentional. It's sometimes, for whatever reason, Streamlabs crashes. And the stream stops running and I have to restart it. I don't know why. But if I ever suddenly cut to offline without letting you know, that's why. I promise you it's not deliberate, it's accidental, and we'll be right back online as soon as possible. And I have a cup of tea. No, it wasn't grey. Grey is too good to cause problems. Ah, hydrate. Right. Cool. So, back to the old modding, and we're going to do, for the last hour, a little bit of voice acting of these lines. Do I have sweetener with your tea? No. No, just milk. Tea and milk. That's all we need. So, we'll pop the camera back onto the camera screen with camera. Boom. I'm small in the corner. Hello. And we have Tiny Lucian here with us, and we're going to open up the quest that we created again. And I'm going to fire up Cubase, which is my audio software of choice. Ah, no. Don't do audio. We don't do Cubase first. Close the creation kit. Need to renumber the form IDs with SSE edit before we can do anything else, before we can start voicing them. Test, test, test. Here we go. Audio's back. I did the fix. Sorry about that, people. Oh, we lost more viewers while that was happening. You are a fickle bunch, but thank you those of you who've stayed. I should not pay attention to the view count. Right, so we've loaded it up, and as we've loaded it up in SSE Edit, you can see we've got tons of errors. Look at all these errors that have loaded up because of the way we've set this up as an ESL file. So we need to fix them by constraining the form IDs within the range of forms that ESLs will accept. Yes, it is a fancy mug, isn't it? I don't really know why I'm using this one today, but it is a slightly fancier mug than normal. Well, thank you for staying. So, right, here we go. The process of, we've got all these errors. So we're going to renumber the form IDs in order to fix this problem. These all come up because we have an ESL flagged mod that we've made changes to in the creation kit. And that always messes things up because it doesn't properly set these IDs. So, we need to open up our patch. And the first thing I'm going to do, actually, before I do anything else, is remove the dirty edits. Because we have done get distance checks. And whenever you do a get distance check, it creates a dirty edit where it edits something in the world space, where it makes them persistent. And also, all the things that we've clicked on, anything we clicked on in the world, has been edited as well by accident here. So we didn't want to edit anything. Look at all these edits to the world that have happened from us messing around. We don't want to change anything in the world space. We want it all to stay exactly the same. So I'm actually just going to click on the whole world space record here. Oh, and you can't see. You can't see because I haven't got the thing on. This is not going very well. Right, screen with camera. Let's try again. So, what I was saying was, here is our, we've got to open in SSE Edit. Right, here it is. You've got all of these errors here. This is what I was trying to show you before. We've got all these errors here from the ESL file that we've been editing. Here are the problems. And we need to fix these, and we need to fix these by renumbering the form IDs so the form IDs fall within the range that the ESL will accept. So, before I start fixing that, I'm going to clear up the dirty edits. So here is our world space records over here. And you can see all of these different records, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them, I think, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, and that one as well. Yeah, anyway, there's lots of them. And we don't want any of these. So these have been created anytime I clicked on anything in that creation kit cell window. And anytime I did a get distance check, we get these persistent record flags set. So this is our edited version of the record. This is the original record. And we don't want to make these changes. We don't want to change anything about the main file. So I'm going to get rid of them by just clicking on the world space whole thing here, because I didn't mean to make any world space changes. So I'm just going to click on that, and I'm going to hit delete on my keyboard. And then we say yes. And they're all going to go. They've all gone there. We've made no changes to the world space now. And now similarly now under cell, we've got changes in the house. Things we accidentally changed by doing distance checks on them. And also things we clicked on but didn't change. We've created dirty edits there. So we're going to remove these as well by just clicking on cell and hitting delete. So now all we're left with is our quest and our dialogue topics for the quest, which is what we wanted. So now I'm going to renumber the form IDs, and to do that, I'm going to right click on this file here, and we're going to click renumber form IDs from ... I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to type 800, which is the lowest form ID that it'll accept. So we're going to type that in, 800, and press OK. And it's going to edit 23 records. We'll just let it do that. Press yes to continue. And it's done. It's renumbered all these form IDs now. 801, 82, 83, whatever. All of these, nice and clean. So now if I click on it and I do check for errors, it says done checking for errors, 0 errors found. So we've fixed the problem. Now the other thing I'm going to do is we've got some unnecessary master dependencies in here. We've got them on Skyrim, Update, Dawnguard, Hearthfire, Dragonborn, Homestead, and Lucian. We probably don't need all of these. So I'm going to clean up the unnecessary master files just to make things tidier, by clicking Clean Masters, Remove Unused Master Files. And here we go. We're now down to Skyrim, Update, Hearthfire, Homestead, and Lucian, which are specifically all the files that we need a dependency on for this mod. Nuna has a lazy voice finder question. I tell it to load such and such ESP, but it just seems to load all the things. How do I make it not? Well, I'll just show you lazy voice finder for me. Lazy voice finder here. So, and we're going to press open. Now, there are some things that will load up no matter what you do. Any loose files that you have will just load up straight away. So here are all your files. You press select none. If we just want to load up the files for Lucian, then we do Lucian and we click on it and just select that. So we've got 1 out of 467 now, and press OK. And it'll load up Lucian along with all the loose files. That's different to what you see. I don't know why that would be. I just pressed the open button. This one here, the load plugins from list. So I'm just going to let it do its thing. So, Bobzilla, I actually already explained Patchless plugin, how Patchless interactions twice on this stream. I talked about them once at the start of the stream and once about 30 minutes in where I did a detailed explanation of showing off all the scripts. So I'm probably not going to answer that one again just now, but you can see it when I publish the VOD on YouTube in a few days' time. You'll be able to look through and find my answer to that question already. But I don't want to explain the same thing 3 times in one stream because I think that'll get repetitive for the people who've already been watching. If that's okay? So anyway, once you've opened these up in Lazy Voice Finder Nuna, you can then sort them, you can filter them. If you click on this plugin drop down over here, you can check which ones you want to see the lines from. So once you've loaded them up, yes, it's loaded up with 7,000 items, so it's still loaded up a whole bunch of stuff we didn't want. But, excuse me, Tiny Lucian, if you could just hop off. So, and we want to then just tick, if you just tick lucian.esp and hit OK, it'll now hide all the lines that aren't anything to do with Lucian. So everything you can see in here is just Lucian's lines. And you can play them by double-clicking on them. Watch out for Falmer. Riften. City of 1,000 suspicious smells. Perhaps I'll write a book about it one day. From a distance, that is. And there we go. So anyway, back to this, where we've been editing the Tundra Homestead patch to change the form IDs so that they're compatible with ESLs, so that I can then record some dialogue. And we tidied it up, we've removed our dirty edits, and we're going to press Ctrl and S to save. Job's a good one, so we can close that. And now we can open up the creation kit again. Right, so that's loaded. Yeah, you can also narrow it down with voice type. So now we need to try and find our file, which is always a faff. Where are we? Lucian, Tundra Homestead, set its active file, press OK. Loady, 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 loady. Taking notes like a madman, Megasaki. Okay, if that helps you. I hope this is helpful to some of you. I've no idea whether what I say actually is useful or whether I'm just prattling, but I hope some of this stuff is handy. Do I plan on releasing Jacuzzi when the tutorial series is over? Yes, I do. If nothing else, as a modding resource so that you can see how it's done. It'll probably be quite a bare bones follower. I'm not planning on fleshing him out to the massive extent like I am Lucian. I just want to show off each of the individual features with just a few lines. So he'll probably only have a few hundred lines rather than thousands. But yes, I will release him when the tutorial series is done. Definitely. It'll be a shame to waste all that work anyway. So, here's our quest. And I usually work left to right with this dialogue. So I'm just checking. We didn't have any dialogue under player dialogue. We didn't have any combat or detection or service or misc. So here we go, idles. So we're just going to work from top to bottom with these idles. We're going to have quite a few lines. Oh, a raid! Thank you for raiding, Masked Emerald. I'm just about to voice some dialogue. Welcome, raid people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Always exciting having a raid. But yes, I definitely think it'll be useful if you guys can see Jacuzzi. So you can actually see if you get stuck at any point, you can actually see my implementation and make sure things match up rather than just having to follow the video. You can use them both together. Right, so dialogue now. So I'm going to open this and we're going to save it as a new file. Ooh. So we've got Lucian here, and this is Tundra Homestead patch. Hydrate. Yes, very good timing. Welcome. Thank you for the raid. Most appreciated. I had a bunch of viewers before. I had 50 viewers before, and then we had a break. And while I was on the break, the stream crashed, so it went offline. So a bunch of people thought I'd gone and wasn't coming back. So we lost some viewers, but thank you for restoring some of them. That's very kind. So I'm going to delete all this dialogue we don't want from last time. I always reopen old dialogue and then save it as a new thing because I currently have already my compression already set up for this so that I don't have to set it up again. I'm not going to mess with that, but yeah, here we are. Here's my compression settings, which I will talk through in part 3 of the YouTube tutorial series. I will show you all my settings for this and the explanations for that. For your own mods. Right, now, we're going to record some dialogue. So, quiet in the back, please. This place is for sale? It looks charming. Can we buy it? Please? How was that take? Let's listen back to it. Need some headphones? I need the volume a little bit higher for that, I think, so I can hear it properly. I'm having audio problems with my headphones. Let's just see if I can find out why that is. Won't be a minute. That's more like it. Yes, you're correct. That line could be used for any house mod. Unfortunately, I can't technically implement it to work for any house mod, so it'll just have to work for this one, I'm afraid. Well, I'm sorry, you can boo all you like, but it's it's technically impossible to set a line to play for just any house mod. Right, I just need to set up my file paths for this, so I'm just going to pop you back onto camera for a sec while I do that. Yeah, it would be cool. There are many things that would be cool if I could do them technically with Lucian, but alas, I can't. I am limited by the game engine and the way it all works. I also think it's nice to have bespoke lines for bespoke houses, rather than have the same line trigger for everything. I quite like having unique lines trigger for unique situations. Here we are. Great, so I'll just pop you back onto the screen cam now. Yeah, Yin Spirit's got it sorted. There isn't even a way to say if there's a house player line. That's not a thing. I couldn't even do that. Right, so here's our line, Tundra Homestead patch. Ooh, I've just copied it into the wrong place. Take that out. we need to go new folder under voice here. Lucian. No. Lucian. Now, what did I call this? Tundra Homestead patch.esp? Is that what we called it? Lucian Tundra Homestead patch.esp. Cool. And in here, we're going to have the voice type, which is JR Lucian voice. And in here, this is where we're going to put our file. And now we're going to rename it to what we wanted to, which is that. There we go. And I'll just check I properly cleaned up from lucian.esp. No, I didn't. There we go. I'll delete that. Good. That's gone. Right. Back into Tundra Homestead patch then. This is the folder we want to have open so we can record the next line. Ah, yes. He's trying to take over Skyrim through its houses. Oh, and of course we need to set the lip file there. So we're just going to generate the lip. There we go. Right. Nope. Over there. Shall we ask the steward if we can buy that homestead? It really did look lovely. Let's listen back to that, see how it sounds. Perfect. Happy with that? What does OMG call mean? I don't know what that means. Here we go. Pop that over there. We probably won't finish voicing all this dialogue today, considering I've only got half an hour left of the stream, but we can certainly see. I'll try and voice as much of it as I can. I might have to pick up the pace a bit with voicing these if I'm going to try. So I might be a bit slow replying to chat while I do this. We have a homestead now! Hooray! I can't wait to go and look inside. Perfect. We'll take that. Export. Well, I have had a bit of practice, Yin Spirit. Oh, I see what you mean. Right, that's why call, because it's call me. I'm with you now. Sorry, confused me. But yes, this is like the 3,200th line or something I'm recording to Lucian. I do sometimes, as you'll see on these streams, take about 15 takes to get it right. But we do get the occasional one and done. Oh, hang on, actually, before we let that play, let's set this up. Thank you, Calidwen. I'm glad you're liking the lines. There we go. Generated the file. Ooh, this is delightfully cozy. I think we'll be extremely comfortable here, don't you? Happy with that. Another one and done. In fact, I'm just going to... no, actually. No, I am going to do these one by one, otherwise I'll get confused. Bum, bum, bum. And generate the lip. See you, Check. Thanks for being in the stream. Been lovely having you here. Oh, hello, Dinin. Welcome to the stream. Yes, this voice is in fact my voice that I speak with, but hi. Oh, and hello, very classy demon. A classy demon indeed has appeared. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Clive is brilliant. I concur. Congratulations on acquiring your perfectly normal horse, trademarked. Please refer to your user manual for instructions such as how to ride your horse, how to make your horse teleport, how to understand the metaphysical nature of your horse, how to talk to your horse in your brain. If this manual has not been included, please call the number written on the back of the manual. Congratulations again, yours truly, Cave Johnson. What level am I on ESO? I honestly can't remember. We haven't played for ages. Has anyone who remembers the stream? Can any of you guys remember what level I am? Sorry, Rex Flash. I honestly don't know off the top of my head. I can let you know in the Discord, though, at some time. How do you find Clive when he disappears? You can't find Clive when he disappears. You don't know where he disappears to. He'll appear again next time you get on a horse. But there's no way to find him. No. Can I honestly tell you right now that Clive is benevolent? Yes, Clive is a good boy. He means well. He's not a villain. Mid-20s sounds right. Do I like fish sticks? I don't know what a fish stick is, but yes. Probably. I like fish. Right, so. Need to record more lines. This baking surface is fascinating. I've never seen anything quite like it. I wonder what it's like with sweet rolls. Perfect, happy with that. Right. Next line then. Oh, I need to... I get so distracted so easily when I'm doing these. Gotta be careful not to miss a line. Oh, you're playing Skyrim on stream, are you, Dinin? You streaming on Twitch? If you're streaming with Lucian, I'd love to drop in and see sometime. It's always good fun watching people play with him so I can see people's reactions. Oh, hello, Phantom. Welcome, 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 welcome back. Hope you've been enjoying lurking. Hope you enjoy your holiday. Where are you going? Bum 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 bum. Dinin, I've just done you a follow so I can check out your stream sometime. Oh yeah, staying in the country sounds sensible at the moment. That sounds lovely, though. The gang's all here. Right. It is fancy having a bar of your own. Barkeep, your finest milk, please. Sorry. How was that? No, I had bar of your, not our. That's what I said, so I'll just change that rather than rename it. And we'll listen back to that line. Yeah, I like that. Now, there was a tiny click there where I obviously tapped something. So I'm just going to cut that out. I think. Let me just listen to it again. Where's the click? This is still me talking. So I'll just take this bit out of there and see if that does the job. There we go. That's done it. So I'll just listen to the whole line again. Perfect. How would Lucian react to the Night You Remember quest? I don't know. I have to think about that one. Bit of a tricky one, I think. Right. I'm sure there's comedy to be found there, but it's not one of my priorities at the moment. Okay. There we go. Next line. How long have we got? Ooh, 20 minutes. Might be tight finishing this. This writing desk is gorgeous. Reminds me of mine back home. That one's bigger, though. Not that it's a competition or anything. Perfect. That'll do. Got some slight echo on these lines because I'm recording in the corner of my room, but no one's ever going to notice. When you run these lines through Skyrim, it's very difficult to pick up things like that because it applies all its own audio filters to it, which tend to mask things like echo anyway. So you'd be surprised how much you can get away with. The key thing is that you've got a good quality mic. Any plans for Elysium Estate commentary? I have vaguely heard of that mod, but I've never tried it. So no, there's no plans to do that one at the moment. Is it easy to have followers break for the fourth wall? What exactly do you mean by that? What is it that you'd want to achieve? In what way would you want them to break the fourth wall? If you can elaborate on that, I can tell you whether or not it's doable. How do you make sure that Lucian's comments activate around the right objects? So to do that, you have this. This is the condition stack here. This is every line of dialogue has a condition stack, which is all the conditions that have to be true for a line to be said. So right here I have get in current location, and that's checking that you're in the house location. So I'm checking that's equal to 1, and I'm checking the distance between Lucian and a particular reference that I've selected in the world. That's this child bed. So if Lucian's within 300 distance units of this child bed, and he's in the house location, then he'll say this line. Although he'll have a 1% chance of saying this line, but he will say it. So that's the way it's done. See you, Fluffy! Hope you enjoy your vacation. Your vacation? Oh, wow! Nuna, you're being so generous! Thank you so much. You're being ridiculously kind today. That's really lovely of you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Right. So next line then. Just wait for these cars to go past outside. Hang on, hang on. Just stop that for a sec. And we'll go again. Now the cars have gone. 3 beds all in one room. Well, I suppose it's cozy, but a little privacy goes a long way, I find. Still, each to their own. How's that? There we go. There's a phone ringing that I'll never be able to get to in time, so I'm hopeful someone else in the house might be able to get it. Nope, no one got it. Here we go. And generate the lip for that light. We have a Make Me Sing request from Zooey, who wants an improvised thank you song for Nuna. Now that I can do. Oh, Nuna, I really want to thank you for gifting a community sub to Zooey Bub. Sort of a Wolverine thing. Oh, Nuna, gifting subs today is a very nice thing to do. Oh, you are nice, you. Scooby-Dooby-Dooby-Doo, Nuna, Scooby-Doo, Nuna, oh, Nuna, 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 Nuna. Nuna, 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 Nuna. Yeah! There we go. Hope you enjoyed. Follower referencing other series every once in a while. So if you mean just to say random lines that break the fourth wall, then obviously you do that however you want. They're just like any other line, really. There's not going to be a condition on the line to say this line must break the fourth wall. I'd say it's perfectly easy to do. However you want, really. You just condition it like any other line. I'm still not 100% clear on what you think the difficulty would be with doing this. Is there some special thing you want to do? Some special event you want to trigger in game or something? Or that's interesting you should say that, Dylan, because my if you mean my conditioning, the conditioning here, Inigo is much more extensive. Inigo has massive condition stacks, bigger than mine. He's very, very careful with his conditions. Lucian would not like the jobs around here with 6 beds in a room. Wow. Yes, they do. Anna NPCs and Tundra Homestead do conflict with each other. I made a tiny patch for my own personal use in order to fix the landscape issues. It's not perfect yet, so I want to tweak it a little bit, but I probably will release it on the Nexus for you guys as well. Once I've done that. It would have been funny if you just started the whole Scooby-Dooby-Doo intro. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, oh, where are you? I've got some work to do now. Scooby-Dooby-Dee, I see ye. Oh, the way you shake and shiver. I'm mixing it up a bit. That's all I can really remember, to be honest. Slightly improvised version. Yeah, sure, very classy demon. You can say, basically, your follower can say whatever you want whenever you want. So you could put that dialogue wherever you wanted it at any time. You can trigger dialogue to play during fights, for sure. So I just changed, it basically reverts the landscape back to the Tundra Homestead landscape rather than the Anna NPC's landscape. So you do still have an inn and the house very close together, but it fixes the entrance and the garden. It makes them as they are in Tundra Homestead. But you do have this garden sort of overlapping with the one from Anna NPCs. keeps a practice dummy in their bedroom? Well, you do apparently, but why? Right. Yeah, happy with that. These have all been one and dones. Very happy. I'm on a roll. Only got 10 minutes or so left, though, to finish this off. Or 15. Might be... We are going to run out of time, probably. Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da-do-da-da-da, yabba-dabba-dooba-dooba-doo, ba-ba-ba, ba-bum-bum-ba-da-bum-bum. So this is where the magic happens. Because you have an enchanting table. It was sort of an attempt at a joke. I'm not really very proud of it. Yeah, I like that. Lucian is Shaggy theory. He's only using 1% of his power. Do 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 do. Bum 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 ba dum da dum. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Next line. I smell potions. No, let's try that again. Not quite happy with that. I smell potions. And poisons. And weird herbs and gristly things. Not my favourite scent, if I'm honest. Go. Line 10 or 11 done. Now do make sure when you're recording lines, if you're making a follower mod, that when they're idle lines like this, you keep the export in and out very nice and tight to the waveform. So you don't want to have seconds of silence at the start or at the end, because that messes things up and makes the subtitles look a bit weird. Like the user will be able to read the entire subtitle before your character started saying the line, which is never great. So do make sure, that you keep it nice and tight. And you also don't want it to continue too long after the end, because that'll then cause a delay to the next line that might play, even though your line's already finished. So yeah, make it nice and tight. In America, the H of herbs is silent. This is true. Because you say it wrong. I don't know why. You say herbs, we say herbs, because there's an H in it. Megasocky, I would love to hear the Shire theme on a recorder. Oh, you also say, you say aluminum. We say aluminium because there's an I in it, but you like to take the I out. I don't know why. Americans. Yes, that is Eddie Izzard, isn't it? Funny how these things slip into your vocabulary. Whoever owned this place before you had a wonderful collection of books. I approve. No, Nuna, you're undermining me. We changed it to match all the other EM elements, but US English didn't. Well, it does make sense that it should match, doesn't it? But, yeah. Ugh. Language. Language is so weird. I do have to catch myself with my spellings on this to make sure I always spell it the American way. Even if I say it the British way. You've got to get the spellings right to match with Skyrim's spelling conventions. But I think it would be weird for a character to speak in an English accent, British accent, but then say things the American way. I always think that sounds strange on television when people do that. This cellar is fantastic. Look at all the space to keep stuff. Bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba-dum ba-dum ba-dum. Tin foil. Aluminum foil. Somebody get me that aluminum sheeting. Soccer. Hey kid, wanna play some football? That we throw with our hands? For reasons, I'm sure. Did I do that? Yeah, that's all set. I swear that mannequin just moved. Yep. Yes, exactly. We care not for accuracy. American football isn't rugby. It's wrong rugby. Yeah, it's weird rugby. It's rugby but with American things. Rugby with armor. I like that. Oh, cool, Laura. I look forward to watching your streams. It's always great fun to see how people react to Lucian's dialogue, and I can always change it, tweak it based on whether things worked or not. Where was it? This one was F. We've done that, so we just need to generate the lip now for it. There we go. Job's a good one. Next. Here's an idea for the garden. A sweet roll tree. No, I didn't quite pronounce that right. Here's an idea for the garden. A sweet roll tree. Think about it. I'm sure it's possible if you throw enough magic at it. There we go. Do 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 do. Yeah. Ba bum bum ba bum bum ba bum bum ba 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 bum ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum 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 bum. Oh yay! Thanks so much for the sub, Salty OCE. Thank you. That's lovely of you. Thank you so much for subscribing. Really kind. Yes, Arctic's Entertainment is there. Free tours. I'd love that. I'd love to go back to America. I went when I was little, years ago. We did Disneyland. I'd love to go back. Very sensible idea keeping the blazing forge away from the house. Good fire safety. Shame about the massive dragons that can swoop down at any time, but I suppose it's always hard to account for those. A car went past while I did that. I'm going to try it one more time. Very sensible idea keeping the blazing forge away from the house. Good fire safety. Shame about the massive dragons that can swoop down at any time, but I suppose it's always hard to account for those. Oh, thanks. That's nice of you to say, Salty. Car or vroom dragon? Au grand oui oiseau. Alors, le grand oui oiseau est ici. C'est Alduin. Bonjour, je m'appelle Alduin. Oh non, c'est Alduin. Où est le Dovahkiin? Bonjour, je m'appelle Dovahkiin. Bonjour, Dovahkiin, je suis Alduin. Oh, oh, oh. Oui, oui, jambon. Wahoo, it's me, Mario. C'est moi, Mario. Bonjour, je m'appelle Mario. Wahoo, où est Bowser? Bonjour, Bowser. Où est Peach? Pêche. Où est la pêche? Bonjour, Pêche. Oui, bonjour, Mario. Je t'aime, Mario. Oh oui, je t'aime, Pêche. Le grand oui oiseau est dans l'arbre. Oh, thanks so much for the bits, Vickle. The things I do for bits. Have you tried Angry Nords mod? I have not. I've never heard of it. Oh, look! A pile of firewood! Turns out there's somewhere you can put it so your friends don't have to lug it around all the time. Hint, hint. I'm afraid I've never seen Ratatouille, so I couldn't possibly sing that, I'm afraid. Unless you want me to just completely make up the tune based on the lyrics. And that's cool that you've started streaming, Laura. I obviously can't watch because I'm streaming. But that's good to know. Did we export that? 16. Oh, I'm getting confused now. Have I just done this? No, I haven't. But was this the line? I'm really confused. Very sensible idea keeping the blazing... No, I didn't export it. Cool. So this needs to be 17. Yeah. No, I've never seen Ratatouille. I'm sorry. I need to watch it at some point. I've not seen it, though, so I don't know it. I'm really sorry. Megasocky wants me to try and make up the tune. Right, okay. Give me a sec. Let me just finish these lines, and then I'll sing you out with a made-up version of that song from a film I've never seen, which will probably upset all of you. Hey! No, not hey. Hey! Hey! There's hey! Hey, hey! Not quite. I'll try that one more time. This is stupid. Why did I write this? What was I even thinking? Hey! No, what are you doing? No, go away. I don't want this. Stop. Stop. Right, let's try again. Hey! No. Sorry, I don't know why this is difficult for me. I just... Hey! No, not hey. Hey! Hey! There's hey! Hey, hey! That'll do. Yes, Lucian does sing, but a sing-on command option will be added in a future update. But thank you very much for being kind about my voice. That's very nice. Chug a mug of mead and another mug of mead, chug another mug of mead till you fall down. Miracle of a song, that. I need to reduce the frequency on that line. It plays too often. It was meant to be a rare Easter egg, but it plays for everyone. Ah! Bee! Oh, it's fine. It's gone. Thank goodness. Can't have the poor little dear using her sting on me. That would be awful for her. There you go. 19. Oh, and I'm out of time really for the stream, but I'll just quickly blitz through these last couple of lines. If I'm really quick, I'm sorry, I'm just going to ignore you in the chat for a sec. I hope that's okay. I just want to get this done. If I can just get this finished, then all that's needed is testing and packing up, which I'll do in my own time. Oh, homestead, homestead, there's nowhere I'd rather have as home instead. I feel like that was the same tune as something else. See you, Laura. Thanks for dropping by. Been lovely having you on stream. Dun, 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 dun. Right, final line. Final one, and then we're done. And then I'll wrap up. I do love our little home in the tundra, don't you? Yes. There we go. All 21 lines recorded and implemented. All set up. And in theory, the patch is now all good to go, although I expect there'll be quite a lot of testing and tweaking to do before it's ready. But there we are, all done. Just in the nick of time. Whoop-de-doo. Right, so I'm going to go. Thank you all so much for watching. Just before I do, I'm going to do this song request, which is going to be an absolute disaster. I can't remember what the song was, though. It was called something. Ratatouille song? Le Festin from Ratatouille. Oh, brilliant. Oh, this is all in French. And I'm going to completely make up the tune and it's going to be a disaster. Les rêves des amoureux sont comme les bons vins. Ils donnent de la joie ou bien de chagrin. Affaibli par la femme, je suis malheureux. Volant chemin tout ce que je peux. Oh, car rien n'est gratuit dans la vie. Espoir est un plat prêt bien trop vite consommé. À sauter le repas, je suis habitué. On voulait solitaire, estrie à nourrir. À nous, je suis amer, je vais réuser. Car rien n'est gratuit dans la vie. Jamais on ne dira que les courses aux étoiles, ça n'est pas pour moi. Laissez-moi va vous émerveiller, prendre mon envol. Nous allons enfin nous régaler. Et la fête va enfin commencer. Et sortez la bouteille, fini les nuits. Je reste la table de ma nouvelle vie. Je suis heureux à l'idée de ce nouveau destin. Une vie amée, cachée et puis libre enfin. Le festin est sur mon chemin. Une vie amée, cachée et puis libre enfin. Le festin est sur mon chemin. Alors, la bibliothèque. There we go. Hope you enjoyed. I might listen to how that song actually goes at some point. Oh, wonderful. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all so much for watching. It's been really good fun. And I will see you all again in the next stream. We'll be streaming next Thursday, but probably before then, I'll be releasing my part 2 of the YouTube tutorial series. If you're not subscribed to me on YouTube, please do subscribe to my channel. That would make me very happy indeed. If you just went onto the channel and clicked sub, I'll get a little ping and that'll make me really happy. Thank you so much for subscribing. Those of you who subscribed to my Patreon and subscribed to the YouTube channel, that was really kind of you. All your generosity during the stream is really lovely. Thank you all for making it really fun. And yeah, I'll see you all again soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.